Welcome in to News and Views with Tom Lamprecht. The stories you've heard and the ones you need to hear.
At no time in the 20 seconds that we saw where he was threatening the officers in any kind of way.
I guarantee you right now, there's cars moving, not just narcotics, but human beings for profit.
It's not a Republican recall, it's the people's recall.
He's got to stick to the climate stuff. We got to be very careful. We don't have this guy sticking his nose into any of the work happening with Iran.
Your life, your values, your voice. This is News and Views with Tom Lamprecht on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
All right, welcome in. And unfortunately, North Carolina is continuing to make national news, not in a good way. Tom and Benny and Clark with you on this Tuesday afternoon. This just in from the News and Observer, as the national attention is looking at North Carolina. Roy Cooper is calling for a special prosecutor to investigate. This would help assure the community and Mr. Brown's family that a decision on pursuing criminal charges is conducted without bias, Cooper said in a statement released Tuesday afternoon. This position is consistent with the change in law recommended by our task force for racial equity in criminal justice, which calls for a special prosecutor in police shootings. I'm sorry, that whole paragraph is an oxymoron. And I'm all for having a fair investigation. But this idea that Cooper comes out and says it will be conducted without bias, and then the next sentence is because this is what our racial equity and criminal justice bill calls for. Look, I guarantee you anything that's called the Racial Equity and Criminal Justice Act is so biased to the left, it's not funny.
Yeah, and Roy Cooper, his first statement, or tweet last week was, initial reports out of Elizabeth City is extremely concerning. The body camera footage should be made public as quickly as possible, and the SBI should investigate thoroughly to ensure accountability. Well, Sheriff Tommy Wooten of Pasquotank County had already had a press conference and called into SBI, had the SBI at the very first press conference after it happened. So Cooper, he should have stepped in from day one and said, hey, the process has started, because he can't just pass the buck into when it's politically expedient for him to jump in.
Well, the good news is we all can rest easy now, because William Barber is up in Elizabeth City. So he and other, quote, faith leaders is the formerly big Al Sharpton up there. I'm sure he is. And the currently big William Barber. The wee Willie Barber is on scene.
Well, the buffet business will be good up there.
No, it won't be good. He might bankrupt it.
Yeah, that's true.
Cooper also said, this is irritating, that Cooper is basically propagating this line. And look, I don't know whether these deputies are guilty or not. That's the point. Nobody does.
Exactly.
But he's continued to propagate the line from the attorneys for the family of Andrew Brown that, quote, a kill shot to the back of the head is what took Andrew Brown. A total irresponsibility. But listen, this is typical Democrat. This is their way of pushing this we hate the police narrative, this, critical race theory narrative, this social justice narrative. And at the same time, they want to be liked by the media and be portrayed in a good way in the media. So Josh Stein and Roy Cooper are calling for this unbiased investigation. Josh Stein is going to be unbiased. That's first I've heard of that. The FBI has launched a federal civil rights investigation into the shooting of Andrew Brown Jr. by the Pasquotank County deputies. FBI spokeswoman Shelley Lynch confirmed to the News and Observer today the investigation by FBI's Charlotte Field Office. Agents will work closely with the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of North Carolina and the Civil Rights Division at the Department of Justice to determine whether federal laws were violated, Lynch said. As this is an ongoing investigation, we cannot comment further. Now, there are cooler heads in our state government that have spoken out in a very balanced way. Earlier today, Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson was a guest on Newsmax. This is not the entire interview. This is about 2.5 minutes of this interview where Mark Robinson spoke to the issues that were taking place in Elizabeth City.
This is what I'm going to say about this case. And I say this to everyone involved. I say this to the people of North Carolina. We need to slow down and allow the justice system to take its course. We saw with the George Floyd, with what happened with George Floyd, the justice system worked. Derek Chauvin was fired, then he was tried, and then he was convicted. We could have saved ourselves a lot of misery if we had simply allowed the justice system to work. And I am imploring the people of North Carolina, allow that to happen in this case. I have full confidence that the folks in Pasquotank County, the sheriff, the district attorney will do the right thing. But we have to allow that process to take place. We cannot rush to judgment. Rushes to judgment cause riots and they cause more misery. Let the justice system work, and I believe that this thing will turn out the way it should. And again, in this case, we don't know what happened yet, and I would implore people to find out what happened before they do that. I understand that the family is very upset, and my prayers, my heartfelt prayers, go out to the family, and I pray that they find a sense of justice. And if wrongdoing was done, I'm sure that's what will happen. But here's the thing with these celebrities and some of these elected officials, it should be their absolute responsibility to call for calm. If you notice, we don't ever hear them talk about the real cases of execution. Right here in North Carolina, a 7-year-old girl was murdered by a man who was angry apparently because her mother cut him off in traffic. An incident of road rage. And this man took the life of a 7-year-old child right here in this state. I don't hear any elected officials calling out for justice for this family or even mentioning this family. This story's hardly getting any news coverage.
No, I haven't heard about it.
In Chicago, we saw a 7-year-old child in Chicago murdered in line at the drive-thru at McDonald's. We're not getting any coverage on that case. I have not heard LeBron James or any other high-profile celebrity say anything about those cases. Those are the things that we need to be highlighting. Should we talk about police brutality? Absolutely. But we also need to be talking about the amounts of outrageous crimes in some of these same neighborhoods that is going unnoticed by our elected officials and by these same loudmouth celebrities that we see every time when things like this happen.
Loudmouth celebrities. Thank you, Mark Robinson, our lieutenant governor.
It's amazing. He's the only one in state executive office that will speak the truth.
Yeah.
Our governor will not.
Here's the other thing, too. Ben Crump is basically a high-profile $1 million ambulance chaser. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was just up there, got all the, I don't know how many millions for the George Floyd family. And 27 million. Mm-hmm. And now he is down here. Look, he's an ambulance chaser. And what will serve the narrative for him to get millions? And, I guess he gets the general 33%. Who knows how much he gets? I would suspect that's what it is. So it is money in his pocket to vilify the police department.
And fan the flames.
He
was born in Lumberton, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that. Lumberton, I don't know if they claim him or not, but the News and Observer is reporting that Democrat House and Senate members want to repeal North Carolina law that requires a court order to view body-worn camera footage captured by law enforcement. No doubt this came out as a result of what happened in Elizabeth City. The call for change comes as protesters line the streets of the city of Elizabeth City. It's also more than unfortunate that the death of Mr. Brown and the actions of authorities afterwards have clearly demonstrated the inadequacy and fallacies of our current body cam release laws, said Representative Amos Quick, a Guilford County Democrat, in a news conference this morning. Now, how do you know that? Look, I am not saying that the police are innocent, but how do you know that? What special information have you been given that, It often happens, I'm getting frustrated here, it often happens that these claims are made, and then guess what? It turns out that all the claims made by the left aren't true. I don't know if what the deputies, I said it just a few minutes ago, I'll say it again. I don't know that the deputies are innocent or guilty. But you don't either.
No.
So why are you making these claims?
And what's so bad about it? Roy Cooper and Josh Stein should have came out day one and said, "Look, we've got to follow the rule of law. We don't get to pick and choose what the law prevails in this just because it's getting national attention. National attention has nothing to do with it. You follow the law, and the law is." So far, they've been handling the case exactly the way the law says. They don't release the video unless a court order or a judge says so. If you don't like that law, change it. But don't come out as the governor and the attorney general, both which are attorneys, one governor, obviously a former attorney general, and say, okay, let's have a special rule right now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, based on what happened just a few days ago.
Yeah, you just can't pick and choose that each case. You have to follow the rule of law.
And again, said this the other day, but you had the Columbus video, the Columbus police officer. And by the way, this guy, Ben Crump, was the same guy that came out. He's up there now, chasing the ambulances in Elizabeth City. He's the same guy that came out in the Columbus shooting and said that the woman who lost her life, the young lady who lost her life, Bryant, was 15 years old and she was unarmed. Mm-hmm. Both of those. And he went back and he deleted his tweet after he was caught. But both of those things were incorrect, and both of those things had the potential to immediately cause a riot in Columbus. I'm not just saying people would be upset. I mean, that is malfeasance of the worst sort, and quite frankly, if something had erupted, and it very well could have within minutes or hours, the ways people respond, I mean, would there not be criminal charges brought against this guy?
Well, one thing, and I feel for the family, regardless of regardless of what happened, a family lost a family member. But for them to sit here and say, and they're being fueled by Ben Crump and 5 other attorneys that all of a sudden flew in and they had
all
their
up
best
there with their
interests.
palms out.
But for them to say, hey, Mr. Brown or my father was innocent. He was innocent until proven guilty. Well, you know what? The same applies to the police and the cops. They're innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
You don't get to pick and choose when the law prevails, whether innocent prevails or not. But they should just be quiet and let the process go through. And just like Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson says, let the law.
Yeah.
Go. I mean,
if the deputies are guilty, they'll be.
If they're guilty, I say prosecute.
They'll be brought to justice. Yeah.
To the fullest extent of the law.
Getting back to this bill on the body camera, that they want to immediately, regardless, we should immediately see what the footage says. It's House Bill 698 and Senate Bill 510, brought forward by Democrats. Jay Chinarty said studies have shown that body cameras reduce officer misconduct and use of force, and body cameras reduce citizens' complaints against law officers by 90%. Well, have you ever stopped to think that perhaps the complaints go down because the videos prove that there's no there, and that the people that would be bringing the complaints would say, well, they got video of it. I guess I shouldn't make a complaint because I'll look like a fool. I mean, the insinuation from the left is, well, if we have these body cameras and if we immediately see the video, that means the police will behave themselves. Actually, studies have shown that 9 times out of 10, if not more, the body cameras show that the police followed the law properly.
Well, I'm fully in favor of body cams, and I'm in favor of them getting released as soon as the law allows it. But,
as you said, don't change the rules in the middle of the stream.
It doesn't have anything to do with this case. But just look at the Michael Brown case in Ferguson, Missouri, that started a lot of this. Well, so many things was said. They fanned the flames up there in Ferguson, Missouri.
Hands up, don't shoot. That was a lie.
Hands up, don't shoot, which was a lie. And then when they actually had the full investigation by Obama's Justice Department, not one witness corroborated any of the information that was out there in the lies. But did President Obama or anyone else come back out and say, hey, my Justice Department investigated this? You heard nothing from the Obama administration.
We've got to take a time out. Stay with us. More news and views coming right up.
And we're on location at one of my favorite places in the whole planet because this is some of the best food you're ever going to eat in your life. We are at Nino's on Red Banks Road in Greenville. It's one of my hangouts. It's one of the places that I love. I got my friend Pietro Pasalacqua. How'd I do?
You did great.
Let's talk about the food. What makes this place? I know it's special Italian from authentic Italians, but tell us why it's so special.
Because everything we do, it's really what we came up on the menu from what we did at home, from my grandparents, my parents. So it's exactly what we eat at home, and that's the way we cook. That's why it's special.
And the atmosphere in this place is special also. From the bar to the two dining areas. You got two different dining areas, and now the weather's nice, so there's going to be a lot of folks that want to eat outside.
Yeah, we have two rooms. One room is designed a little different. We're also working on the patio to make it more attractive and more useful in the summer with a cocktail service. And we're always improving our services.
And, of course, my friends here, my buddy, Chef Massimo, who I love, and Sal and Pietro, you guys do a great job here. Not just Italian, but I had a great pork chop here the other night. You got great steaks, too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we're also adding filet mignon in the future on our menu. And Massimo is coming out with a really good side dishes for it. And so we're really excited to come out with new meats and fish dishes.
All right, Nino's on Red Banks Road in Greenville. Same people that give you Marabello's and the great pizza that you get at Marabello's, but this is fine dining at Nino's. If you haven't been here, you don't know what you're missing. Come see them at Nino's on Red Banks Road. And Pietro, what is that famous saying about Nino's?
The food that you enjoy with people that you love.
Top Dog Academy is Eastern North Carolina's complete dog training facility. Top Dog provides an excellent environment for dogs of all ages with training services and work week daycare. Top Dog is located on Highway 43 South, just 4 miles from Bells Fork, and features a comfortable, healthy environment and a spacious facility for daycare and a brand new, beautiful facility for training. Call 752-8215 or visit TopDogOnline.com.
Come on out Highway 43 South to Top Dog Academy, where we know dogs.
Living easy is the sound of children laughing as you make memories with neighbors and friends. It's the sound of nothing at all. It's the smell of the salt air. Hear the waters against the marsh grass. See the beauty of our coast. Bow Coast.
Like our southern border.
President Biden's open border policy.
The border to your town.
What's happening at the border
is wide open.
It's wide open right now.
Just comes right on through.
Can we stop?
Chaos. Chaos?
Moving through right now.
Sure. A crisis? The caravans are lining up. Be prepared. With Talk 96.3 and 103.7. Now back to News and Views with Tom Lamprecht and Benny Hardy.
New bumper there from our producer Clark. Taking a look at your weather forecast. It is going to be nice most of the rest of this week. Tonight, it'll be low around 59. Wednesday, a high near 85 with lots of sunshine. A little breezy. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, low around 63. Then Thursday, mostly sunny with a high near 89. Maybe we'll get to 90. I must be getting old. The hot weather doesn't bother me nearly as much as the cold weather in the winter bothers me.
It's nice.
That's what old people say.
Get off my lawn.
Weather brought to you by our friends at the Ironwood Golf and Country Club, voted best golf course in Greenville 2 years in a row. Ironwood Golf and Country Club boasts an 18-hole Lee Trevino design course, full-service dining and outdoor pool, tennis, and more. Our newly renovated 15,000-square-foot clubhouse is the perfect place to make new traditions with your family. For a limited time, join Ironwood. Pay zero initiation fees. Call 252-752-4653. Find out what makes Ironwood the best of Greenville. 252-752-4653. Be a part of the best. Ironwood Golf and Country Club. So, UNC has made a new hire for their School of Journalism. Not good. The glorification of history-mangling New York Times Magazine writer Nicole Hannah-Jones. She is the one who put together the 1619 Project that basically says colonial America, The only reason anybody came to this country is because they wanted to embrace and promote slavery. That's the whole reason. That's why the Pilgrims came. That's why Jamestown started. It was all about slavery. That's the whole premise of the 1619 Project in a nutshell. After the New York Times purchased a $2 million ad during Oscars last year, promoting the 1619 Project. Then just a few weeks later, they had to back down and said, oh, maybe not. They felt a lot of pressure. They backed down. And yet, who is the new hire at the UNC School of Journalism? None other than Nicole Hannah-Jones, the author of the 1619 Project. She is going to be the new chair of the John S. and James L. Knight Foundation. The Knight Foundation comes from the, Knight Ridder Journalism, or the newspaper chain. It's a part of the Knight Foundation, apparently. So, in the press release, Hannah-Jones proclaimed, "I am grateful for the opportunity to give back by helping students pursue their dreams and learn how to practice the type of journalism that is truly reflective of our multiracial nation." Truly reflective. This is the person that wrote the fictitious 1619 Project, which promotes the "if you're white, you're guilty" narrative, that if you're white, especially if you're a white male, then you are a white supremacist. It just pushes that narrative, and she has the chutzpah to come out and say, I'm going to promote journalism that is truly reflective of our multiracial nation, which means she's going to come out and try to promote more people like herself that would project the 1619 Project.
She received her master's at University of North Carolina, I think undergraduate at Notre Dame. And I was trying to see, I've had it at one time, but I don't think I have it on my phone. But you need to really read her article she wrote in the Notre Dame newspaper when she was at Notre Dame. And that will tell you all that you need to know about Nicole Hannah-Jones.
See if you can find that.
I'll see if I can find that.
CNN is reporting, along with another media outlets, a lot of media outlets, I should say, Cheri Beasley, the first black woman to be North Carolina Supreme Court Chief Justice, has officially launched her 2022 Senate campaign today. She hopes to be the first black U.S. Senator from North Carolina, 55 years old, and she wants to be the replacement for Richard Burr. We'll see where that goes. Right now, it's getting a little full. You do have, on the Democratic side, you have State Senator Jeff Jackson. He's announced he's going to run. Former State Senator Erica Smith said she's going to run. Dr. Richard Watkins and Beaufort Mayor Rhett Newton are going to run. CNN went out of its way to note that Erica Smith and Richard Watkins are both black, along with Cheri Beasley. The Cardinal Point Analytics did a survey back on April the 20th, which would have been, 7 days ago, a week ago. They had, now this is before Beasley even announced she would run, they had hers the front runner in the Democrats, on the Democrat side at 32.4%. Jeff Jackson at 26.4%, Erica Smith at 16.0%. And she ran last time, and she lost in the primary to the guy that had the sex scandal.
Cunningham. Cal Cunningham.
Yeah, how quickly we forget. Brett Newton. Cal's not running again. I wonder why. Brett Newton is.
He's running from his wife.
I wonder if he got a pitching wedge in the back of the head like Tiger did. Brett Newton is at 7.6%, and Watkins at 3.2%. Unsure or undecided is at 14.4%. Which is, at this point, you're a year and a half away. That's not surprising. Over on the Republican side, Laura Trump, who has not announced that she's going to run, I just don't think she is. We'll see. She's at 36.4%. Pat McCrory at 36%. So Laura Trump's barely ahead, but she is ahead of Pat McCrory just by a hair. Mark Walker, who we had on yesterday, is at 10.4%, I should say. Ted Budd, 2.4%, and undecided, unsure, 14.8%, which I share that with you. It's pretty meaningless at this point. I mean, it's like, okay, it's a long way away.
I think it'll be Cherry Beasley from
You think she'll
the Democrat
prevail?
side. Mm-hmm.
Well, she's got, obviously, the best name recognition. We'll see.
Well, CNN reported it, as a major story in CNN today. So that tells me that tells me they got the Democrat marching orders. So she will be it.
Newsbusters is reporting, and I'll make a prediction right here, and it's already started, so this is not a hard prediction. But liberals, they will now call for an investigation into the census. Their claim will be that Trump skewed the results on purpose. Good Morning America, just this morning, this was their reporting on, and listen carefully, but you'll see the insinuation that we can't trust this census because red states increased, blue states decreased, and it's got to be because Donald Trump's corrupt.
Some states are set to gain congressional seats while others will lose seats.
This was one of the most complicated head counts ever given the pandemic and the Trump administration's push to not have undocumented immigrants counted. The reason these numbers are so important is that they'll end up determining how more than $1 trillion federal dollars gets allocated and how you saw those congressional maps get drawn. The big impact, red states are basically going to pick up several seats. Democrats, blue states could potentially lose some, and ultimately this could impact the midterm elections. New York, listen to this. If just 89 more residents had responded to the census, they would not be losing that seat. Robin, there are big questions this morning about whether Latinos accurately participated in this census by the Trump administration. Some concerns they may have been scared off.
Yeah. This is one of the most complicated head counts ever, given the pandemic and the Trump administration's push to not have undocumented immigrants counted. Yeah. Do you count people that are here illegally? Do you, when you do a census, do you count people that are visiting the United States at the time?
Yeah.
I don't think so. So why would you count undocumented people that aren't supposed to be here? They're here most likely temporarily. If we're following the law, they'd be here temporarily.
I think our population's numbers are grossly understated. Always have thought that.
Total population?
Total
or
population.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
And I think the immigrant population is way understated.
It is interesting, though. And I mean, I talked about this yesterday, but this whole census thing. I mean, people are fleeing high-regulated, undisciplined, overtaxed, lawless states. They're fleeing it. They're saying enough. I'm out of here, and they're coming to more conservative states. The only state I was a little surprised that gained was Oregon. Portland, now I've never been out there. My understanding is if you get outside of Portland, it's a fairly conservative state.
Just like every western state, pretty much, coastal western state. You get outside of Washington State, Oregon, California, same way. I mean, it's just they're controlled by the metro areas on the coastal.
And that's exactly how the Democrats want to run things. They want to they want to go to a pure mob rule vote, popular vote, which is going to be mob rule. The Blaze is reporting that the Washington Post, interestingly, decided they will discontinue their presidential fact check after just 100 days of Joe Biden's administration. Now, what's interesting about this is they were in full throttle when Donald Trump was there. But
they kept a running total, according to them, of what his lies were.
But now that Biden's in there, and they're, well, you know what? We just can't afford to do it. It's just, it's so expensive. And, Biden seems like he's a good guy. So, we're just not going to do it. In a tweet thread that went out yesterday from fact-check editor Glenn Kessler, he announced that while he and his team will continue to rigorously fact-check Biden, I'm sure you will, they will no longer maintain a database like they did under Trump. The response was rather appropriate. The Biden administration is over, rest easy, media critic Stephen Miller quipped. What an incredible 100 days of presidency. Come on, man, one commentator wrote. Go ahead and enjoy your 4-year vacation. Thanks for confirming your bias. 4 years vacation because blue team, another wrote. Hooray, standards, another Twitter wrote. If they don't come in double, how would you all operate? One commentator noted that no such database was in operation under the former Democratic President Barack Hussein Obama either. So Kessler should have been well rested before Trump got in there. I would have thought the 8 years, prostrate years before Trump would have left you sufficiently rested.
You know, I try to listen to the White House press briefings daily if I can. I'll flip it on while I'm working, and
I'll circle around back to you on that.
I'll circle back to you on it.
I'll circle back on that one.
But you would think, I mean, I really thought after 100 days you would get more challenges out of the press, but still, on a daily basis, it's Peter Doocy.
Peter Doocy and against the world.
Yep. It's just amazing to me, the things that they don't question.
Yeah, I've got to give Peter Doocy kudos on this, too.
He just got married this weekend, by the way.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, congratulations, Peter Doocy.
Fox Business reporter.
I mean, when he started out, he's the son of Steve Doocy. Everybody knows that, the guy that's on Fox and Friends in the morning. And when he started out, I thought, well, Steve Doocy does a good job, so we'll give your son a break. But I tell you what, the young man is in there asking tough questions. Mm-hmm. I mean, I give him. I mean, he deserves that job. He's the only one in there asking tough questions. So kudos to Steve and congratulations on your new marriage. This is an interesting story out of, a couple of interesting audit stories. Up in Windham, New Hampshire, the town of Windham has decided they are going to make a choice for someone to come in and analyze for the forensic audit team. In that area of New Hampshire, it was the largest discrepancy between machine and hand counts for any election in the history of New Hampshire. So the town of Windham has chosen someone to analyze the discrepancy, and then Secretary of State William Gardner and New Hampshire Attorney General will pick a second analytical company. And then I think there's a third that's going to be chosen as well. So they're going to come in, they'll do an analysis and find out. Governor Sununu said it needs to be completed within 45 days. So that's going to go ahead and proceed. And then in Arizona, now this is just a strange story in Arizona. The Democrats came in and they started screaming and hollering that they didn't want the audit in Maricopa County to take place. And there was a judge out there, I think his name was Connor or something along those lines. I don't have it written down here in front of me, but he came out and he said, okay, here's the deal. After the Democrats asked this judge to put an end to the audit, the judge ordered the company to follow ballot and voter secrecy laws and demanded they turn over written procedures and training manuals before a hearing Monday on the Democrats' request. He, however, offered to pause the count over the weekend if Democrats posted a $1 million bond to cover added expenses. The party declined. Then this judge recused himself after he made this announcement. He recused himself because one of the attorneys was an intern in his office within the last 5 years. So he recused himself. Now, that's the noble thing to do. But the problem is they turn around and the new judge assigned to the case was appointed by Janet Napolitano. Yeah, the same Janet Napolitano that was in the Obama administration.
Yeah, that'd be a clue, I think.
Now, here's my question, though. If this guy is going to recuse himself because he had an attorney, I don't know which side the attorney was on, whether he's a Republican or Democrat representing which side, but if he's going to recuse himself, shouldn't the judge recuse himself? Now they say, well, he can't help who appointed him. But listen, do you think this is going to be a fair decision by this judge? I guarantee you right now, this judge is going to shut this down. Guarantee it.
I'd say let's just get a judge from another state. you want to be impartial,
And listen, The president, the former president, Donald Trump, I mean, he just came out and blistered the Democratic Party. And I think he's right. I mean, he said, have they gone totally insane? The radical left Democratic Party has absolutely gone insane in fighting the forensic audit of the 2020 presidential election scam right now taking place in the great state of Arizona. They sent a team of over 100 lawyers to try and stop it because they know that the results of the Arizona Senate-sponsored audit what they will be, and it won't be good for the Dems. And listen, I've got to. I mean, I know that our former president, he likes to tweet a lot of outrageous things. But why are the Democrats? I mean, it's done, right? It's finished. I mean, your guy's the president. Why are you so worried that this audit will show that there was corruption there?
You know, the funny part is, in the 2016 after the 2016 election, for the next 2 years, they pushed a phony Russian hoax narrative and about the security of our elections and how important the security of our elections were. And now all of a sudden in 2020, there's nothing wrong here. We don't need to investigate anything.
Oh yeah.
You really got to be pretty darn stupid not to see what's happening here.
Well, there's a group of one of the auditors in that situation in Maricopa County, Arizona, is Cyber Ninjas. They began the manual recount on Friday, and chances are that even with this former judge recusing himself, chances are they could be done by the time this new judge takes over. Let's hope so. Stay with us. More news and views coming up.
Break the chain. Eat local. Tiebreakers.
Hey, this is Hank Hinton back here at Full Service Flooring in Winterville. I'm here today with Corey Little, who's the operations manager here at Full Service Flooring. Corey's been here 6 months, but you've been in construction a long time. Tell us about what you do here at Full Service Flooring.
Yeah, I got over here about 6 months ago. I've been in construction for, like I said, a little over 20 years, and I've known Tim for a long time now, and he's brought me over here to see what new kind of things I can bring to the store and to our customers. And I'm in charge of scheduling, and I don't know what else. I'm in charge of everything. It seems like we work together as a team and try to pull it all together. I might do a measure one day and do a commercial floor the next day, but we just kind of all work together and pull it all together at one time.
So what's new in flooring? What is the hot new thing?
The hot new thing is LVP or LVT, depending on what you're looking for, which look you're looking for. It's a waterproof product. It's absolutely fantastic. You can't really beat it.
A lot cheaper than hardwoods?
It is definitely a cost-effective alternative to hardwoods, yes, sir.
So, Corey, how is business right now?
And business is good. Despite the pandemic, we're still seeing a lot of new customers in the store, and we get an opportunity to introduce our products in a lot of different situations right now.
Corey, you've got a lot of experience in the construction industry. How is that helping you here with people, helping people with flooring here at Full Service Flooring?
Sure. I try to take the experiences that I've gained over my time in construction to help apply that to the flooring, whether it be with what the structure is made out of, the subfloor that we're going over top of, or maybe even just how it coordinates with your kitchen cabinets in construction or in your bathroom and how the tub and everything all ties together.
And a customer can just come here and see you anytime?
Absolutely. We're here 6 days a week, and we just love to see a new customer in here anytime. They can always call us and schedule something with us so we can make sure we have our time allotted for them.
Corey, thank you so much. That's Corey Little here at Full Service Flooring. Come see these guys. They're on Tilco Drive in Winterville, 756-9308 and fullserviceflooring.com.
In North Carolina, we get up before the sun rises and stay up into the wee hours of the night. We believe in working hard and playing harder. Behind every meal, there's a farmer, and behind every farmer, there's got to be NC, the official state identity program for North Carolina agricultural products. Look for the Got to Be NC logo wherever you shop or eat, and you'll know you're getting a quality product grown, raised, caught, or made in North Carolina.
What happened then?
Derek Michael Chauvin guilty.
Crisis at the border.
What's happening now?
200 million shots.
Violent rioting.
Systemic racism.
Justice in Policing Act. Deadly force can be the response.
Your station for what's happening next and online.
Justice in America.
The sentence is actually handed down. People get vaccinated. Danger of the surge coming up.
At ENCNewsandViews.com.
We're entering a new phase.
How did we get here? And here's what we know.
The information.
Here's Tom and Benny with more news and views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
So we were talking earlier in the program about Nicole Hannah-Jones joining the UNC Journalism School. Went back and did a little digging. Benny found a couple of articles. There's an article from June 25th in the Federalist of last year, June 25th of 2020. In Racist Creed, New York Times 1619 Project founder calls white race barbaric devils, bloodsuckers, Columbus no different than Hitler. The article goes on to say, in an indication of what is to come, the founder of the New York Times 1619 Project penned a lengthy racist screed attacking all people in 1995. Nicole Hannah-Jones, the lead essayist in the New York Times Magazine's 1619 Project, wrote a letter to the editor in the Notre Dame's The Observer, stating that, the quote, the white race is the biggest murderer, rapist, pillager, and thief in the modern world. Hannah-Jones claimed that the actions of European settlers and explorers such as Christopher Columbus were acts of devils and likens them to Hitler. The whites' lasting monument was the destruction and enslavement of two races of people, Hannah-Jones wrote. Hannah-Jones claims Africans arrived in North America long before Europeans, but that unlike Europeans, Africans befriended and traded with the indigenous people. She claims pyramids in Mexico are symbols of said friendship. Where does she get this? I mean, this is laughable. She then moves to present and argues that white people today still take advantage of other people. The descendants of these savage people, talking of the whites, pump drugs and guns into the black community, pack black people into the squalor of segregated urban ghettos, and continue to be bloodsuckers in our community, she writes. She ends her letter by pitying the author she was responding to and claiming that white people still struggle with the supremacy complex. But after everything that those barbaric devils did, I do not hate them, she wrote. Oh, well, okay, never mind. I understand that because of some lacking, they needed to constantly prove their superiority. The Times did not respond for a request to comment on whether their employee maintained these beliefs. This is the individual who says, as she accepts this chair at the UNC School of Journalism, she says, I want to help bring up students that will truly reflect our multiracial nation. Wow.
She went on to say in that original article, why can't we all just...
This is the Notre Dame article.
The Notre Dame article. She says, why can't we all just get along? Why? Because white America's dream is colored America's nightmare. That's UNC School of Journalism.
There you go. Hey, we got to take another time out when we get back. Mike Pompeo has had enough of John Kerry. He says the guy's got to go. We'll be right back.
Introducing Pepsi Mango.
Greenville Toyota has a big deal for you. Get up to 125% of what your trade is worth. Then drive a new vehicle with our big Greenville Advantage. Lifetime maintenance, no-cost oil changes, free loaners, and more. The Big Deal Sales Event, now at Greenville Toyota.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
Sawyer's Fun Park in Winterville is now open. With over 40,000 square feet of family fun, daily money-saving deals, and a full-service restaurant, Sawyer's Fun Park is guaranteed to have something the whole family will love. Test your ninja skills on our 2-story obstacle course or head over to one of our 5 rock walls and race your friends to the top. And when you've worked up an appetite in our laser tag arena or our one-of-a-kind ropes course, Grab a table over at the restaurant and try our world-famous Southern Monster Fries. Reserve your spot today at Sawyer'sFunPark.com and come join in on the fun.
My name is Dr. Neeti Armistead, Chief Medical Officer for Vidant Health. The following simple steps will help keep you and your community safe. Stay home as much as possible, wear a mask when out in public, avoid large gatherings, practice social distancing, and wash hands often. It's also important not to delay needed care. Vidant has taken important steps to provide you and your family with a safe environment. Learn more about COVID-19 and Vidant's response. Call 252-847-8000 or visit vidanthealth.com/COVID-19.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
It's Greenville Toyota's Big Deal Sales Event. Our biggest selection with our biggest savings. Like Corollas, just $15,950. Camrys, only $18,950. Rush in before these big deals are gone. At Greenville Toyota, where our volume saves you money.
This one's for everyone who spends the amount of time it would take to watch a movie, agreeing on which movie to watch. You've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
Back to news and views. Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
Welcome back in. It is 9 minutes before the top of the hour. A number of media outlets are reporting that former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and Republican foreign policy leaders in Congress are demanding a formal investigation into John Kerry following revelations he informed Iranian leaders about covert Israeli military operations. We talked a little bit about this yesterday, but it is just ratcheted up big time today with a number of... Now, again, the Republicans don't control the Senate or the House, so unfortunately this will not go anywhere. But as I said yesterday, could we get the FBI on this as quickly as they got on General Michael Flynn?
Yeah.
I mentioned yesterday about the relationship. I remember it was stuck in the back of my mind. I looked it up today, the marriage relationship between John Kerry and the Iranians.
Oh, his daughter married an Iranian, I believe.
His daughter married an Iranian. His daughter's name is Vanessa. She married an Iranian national and physician. His best man at the ceremony is the son of Javad Zarif, Iran's Minister of Foreign Affairs. Now, Zarif is the same guy that has leaked this information. Well, I don't know if he leaked it or somebody else leaked it, but he was the guy that was saying in these leaked audio tapes that John Kerry over 200 times had passed on information concerning Israel's actions in Syria. Mm-hmm. And this is top secret information. I mean, if this is true, John Kerry, he needs to be investigated, but, you know, it's going to be more than just him getting off the Intelligence Committee and being booted out as the czar of climate change. You could be talking of, now I know nothing happened with Hillary, so why should anything happen to John Kerry? But he very well could be found negligent, or maybe he wasn't negligent. I mean, that's how Hillary got off, right?
Could be treasonous.
Could be treasonous.
Well, you know, he's got a history of colluding with the enemy, you know.
Yeah, that was the same thing, with Vietnam. That was questionable back then.
You know a little lighter story about John Kerry's daughters? I don't know if you remember when they came and campaigned for him in Greenville back in...
I do not. I remember he was running, but I do not remember that.
There was I believe it was in the student newspaper, and they spoke at East Carolina. And there were some young college students, you know, they're creative and don't care what people think. There were some guys right on the front row holding signs that said, "Bush girls are hotter." I just remember that. Thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, well, I saw some pictures of the wedding, and they were right. Let me just put it that way. But no.
Well, they had the John Kerry nose. I hate to say it, but
what did Rush call him? Old horse face. Ted Cruz said Kerry was caught repeatedly meeting with Zaref and during the Trump administration, notwithstanding the Logan Act. And again, this is exactly what they went after Michael Flynn on, the Logan Act. And, you know, if you look up the Logan Act, you ought to see a picture of John Kerry next to it. Mike McCall out of Texas, he is the lead Republican on the House Foreign Affairs Committee, demanded the State Department quickly, carefully, craftily find out exactly what happened here. I'm unfortunate it will go nowhere. But that it's not going to go anywhere. I mean, look, the Democrats, Nancy Pelosi, she could care less about true justice.
Oh, no. And it's amazing to me that the media is just quiet on this. You know, other than Fox News and Newsmax and, you know, the typical conservative news
I mean,
outlets.
what did they say anything about Hunter Biden when the president,
No.
you know, when the current president was running?
But I went to CNN today looking for this story, and it's like, you couldn't find it. You know?
Really?
Yeah, it's not, you know, it's just, nah.
Greg Jarrett is reporting that there are new photos that have been released. They showed up in the publication The Sun, which is a UK publication, with Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein with former President Bill Clinton. Apparently these are, I don't know how they were subdued. Well, like everything else, what you just said, the left-wing media just sort of shoved them under the carpet. But Jeffrey Epstein, who Bill Clinton said, well, I didn't even know the guy. There are pictures of Epstein and Maxwell in the White House shaking the president's hand. And apparently they contributed when they redid the Oval Office in his presidency. And I don't know. I mean, he doesn't seem to have to explain much. I guess they call him Slick Willie for a reason. But
the look he had on his face was kind of disturbing to me. Bill Clinton's, I mean, he had this look like 14. Let me think about it. I mean, really, it looked kind of disturbing.
Hey, thanks for joining us, and we'll do it again tomorrow. See you then. Bye-bye, everybody.
Greenville Toyota has a big deal for you. Get up to 125% of what your trade is worth. Then drive a new vehicle with our big Greenville Advantage. Lifetime maintenance, no-cost oil changes, free loaners, and more. The Big Deal Sales Event, now at Greenville Toyota.